Donna Gilbrech, Getting to Yet. Getting to Yet, Donna Gilbrech.
Most of us are intrigued with the idea of secrets. Some magic formula that's going to get us what we want, success. It seems, when I look at this room full of seemingly intelligent and successful people, that you probably already know how this works. You simply set a goal, write it down, break it into steps, and voila, success. Then why is it so hard for so many of us to get what we want? It probably would be difficult for most of us to pick the 3 or 4 things that are that important in our life that they have a lifetime effect. Dr. Phil thinks we should be able to do it pretty easily, but I don't agree. But sometimes something that doesn't seem very impactful at the time that it's happening has a very long-lasting effect on your life. A lot of years ago, I was at a seminar and our leader gave us a giant calendar. I mean, this thing was this big. And he suggested that on each page we wrote our primary goal. Then he gave us a whole handful of those yellow sticky things, the Post-its. And he said each time that you do something toward that goal, write it down on this Post-it and stick it on the date of this calendar. If at the end of the month that calendar doesn't look like Big Bird, you really didn't want that goal. That's step 1. How in the world are you ever going to succeed at something that doesn't have your passion, the fire in your belly for, instead of what other people expect of you or hope you'll give them? So step number 1 is having a goal that really matters to you enough to really put your whole heart and soul into it. A lot of years later, I have no sense of direction. Poor Julie can tell you I drove around this parking lot for 25 minutes. I know up and down. The rest of those directions are a total mystery to me. But a friend gave me a GPS. I love this thing. I consult it if I'm going anywhere farther than the bathroom. It's a great little mechanism that helps you get to where you're going. If you don't have a plan, if you don't know how you're going to get from where you are to where you're going, how do you think you're ever going to build your own Big Bird without a map? So step number 2 is your own GPS, your own pathfinder for what you're trying to find. My brother was a world-class skier, won everything you could imagine, went to Grenoble, did all the great stuff. And every year he would call and say, how tall are the girls? I would give them their height and weight so that he could have their skis ready for them and other equipment. When we visited him in Winter Park, he lived on the slopes in Winter Park, Colorado. And every year I would find an excuse not to go. He was not very happy with me. But I have to tell you the truth, I hate the cold. The idea of sliding down some icy mountain on slippery sticks held no allure for me whatsoever. But finally one year he prevailed and the girls and I got on an airplane and went to Colorado. He had arranged for them to have group lessons and for a coach for me. This was going to be fun. The girls loved it. I majored in get up again. We went home, I went to bed, I died. I hurt in places I didn't know existed. The next morning we were back on the slopes. He skis 150 to 200 days a year. When the snow goes away in Colorado, he goes to Alaska. When it goes away in Alaska, he goes to New Zealand. We follow the snow. We were back on the slopes. About noon, I found him and said, look, I will be happy to drop the girls off each morning. I will tidy up your house. I will make sure that everyone has this nice warm dinner when they get home. But I have no interest whatsoever in continuing to count my bruises, soak my shin splints, and take pain pills just to go to sleep at night. He said, all right, go down to the equipment shack and ask for Justin. And tell him that you can't do this, and he'll tell you what to do with your equipment. So I trudged down to the equipment shack and I found Justin because he beamed me with a snowball. You see, Justin was 4 years old and he had hooks for hands and special boots because he had no feet. I learned to ski. I learned to love that sport, and whenever I'm going to give up on something, I picture his grinning face. See, Justin taught me rule number 3, the third step, and that is to keep on keeping on, even when it's not easy. The last was a total gift from a friend. We were enjoying a wine or 2 or 3 or 4 one evening, just visiting, and he said, you know, we get more of whatever we celebrate. That didn't seem like a really deep concept, but I'd never really thought about it before. But I can tell you now that whenever one of my friends or family or I achieve some goal, no matter how small, there's jubilation, there's gaiety at our house. And you know what? It works. So if you find yourself still reaching for that pie in the sky big bird, maybe all you need to do is think of 4 small concepts. It's pretty awesome. There's a little sign ripping apart and looking sad on my wall in my office. And it says, when others say can't, I say yet. Mr.
What a wonderful speech. Thank you so much.